Alright, so what I want to talk about is Squid Game, the new Netflix show. So Squid Game has been getting really high reviews from everyone I've seen, and for the most part, I agree that it's a very good show. Um, it's well acted, the sets look really good, the concept in general is interesting, but I also think it's getting a boost from there not being a whole lot of good content out there right now. I mean, just taking a look at the top shows on Apple, I don't think anyone's really got anything else to watch. The controversy comes in when I say that it's probably a flash in the pan type show. I think it's going to go the way of like Tiger King, where everyone's talking about it for a little bit, but then it just doesn't really have lasting power. So, just based on what the show is, I don't think it's likely that there's going to be a second season. And even if there is, it's probably going to be the type of situation where you wish there wasn't a second season. This is because Sung Ji Hun really just isn't an action hero, and I don't think it would play out if he actually did try to hunt the people who orchestrated the game. But it also just left a bad taste in my mouth that he just kind of abandoned his daughter even after everything. So the growth of the character felt like it was a little bit hindered. And simply saying that he doesn't want to feel like a horse that's being bet on really isn't explaining anything. You would kind of expect the character to have a moment where he's supposed to realize what's really important in life. And although he's just one character in the show, I think he's just a starting example of the main issue I have, which there's not a whole lot of depth to the show. You would think that with there being one season, they would have a really good explanation for the games. I was kind of expecting the cop storyline to go somewhere a little bit better. And I was kind of expecting the whole time to find out that his brother was alive and part of the games. They didn't really create any other option there. And that's not necessarily great that I figured it out because I usually just kind of enjoy the ride and don't really try to plan out what the ending's going to be. But yeah, I was kind of hoping to see there be some deeper meaning behind the bad guys in the story. I wanted there to be a little bit more twists and turns, but we kind of ended up with them just being all about money. And it was also kind of interesting how easy they seem to infiltrate. I mean, bad guys are just going missing and no one's really checking up on it. And then like their guy's partner notices that something's off with 129, but he just kind of shrugs it off like, oh, whatever. And that's not really the type of response you would expect from an organization that just casually shoots people. And I also had a problem with the main villain. I feel like he kind of undermines his own point in many parts of the show. One central theme is fairness, yet he himself is cheating in the games. They go so far to kill the doctor, who is also just trying to stay alive. Meanwhile, he's in there giving tips to teams on how to win challenges, like in tug of war. There's also hints throughout the show that he has like a layer of immunity, like he's able to stop the knife fight just by asking them to. His color is also different in the red light, green light game, and his whole thing was he wants to participate and be one of them for fun, but meanwhile he's got a shield around him basically. Then there's also games like Honeycomb that are just in general not fair, and if they were trying to create a game that's equal for everyone, it's just interesting that they would undermine their own point. I think that usually the villains that end up creating a lasting impact are kind of ride or die on their beliefs and they don't go outside of them. They usually act according to their code.
I'm sorry, little one. You live. Now we're talking.
And if anyone says they weren't really that concerned with fairness, I mean, the higher ups straight up said fairness was one of the most important parts of the game. So even if the old man doesn't completely believe it, like his whole following does. It's kind of sad that he actually ended up being the villain anyway, because his death was probably the most impactful moment for everyone watching, and it kind of has just been undone. My final rating would have to be somewhere like a 6.5 out of 10. I just wanted there to be something deeper going on with the bad guys. I was hoping that the police officer would uncover some stuff that would keep you wanting to know more about the organization. Instead, it felt like it was mostly left unanswered. We don't really know how they recruit these people that are willing to kill people, yet they're not paid enough to actually be obedient. Really, the only character that had a noticeable arc was the best friend that finally made a decision that wasn't completely selfish. And actually, if you stop to think about it, they even undermined the game itself by allowing the participants to kill each other at night. Technically, they signed up to play a game, but they just let them murder each other. And then they kind of selectively enforce the rules when they feel like it. Like, based on the fact that they're allowed to just straight up kill each other, it's interesting that no one like tried to push off the enemy team before they even got to their platform in tug of war. But anyway, I do think the show is pretty good. I just don't think it's the best show that I've ever seen, and it's pretty interesting that it's getting just constantly nothing but praise. Hopefully, some people will want to like kind of discuss it more because that's kind of the whole reason I made this video. That way, I can hate on it online instead of bugging my family with it.